Here we are at the Smizer Stone in Evergreen Cemetery, and this is one of the largest stones that was in the cemetery at the time of the Civil War. According to an account by General Oliver Otis Howard, he ordered all the larger stones in the cemetery to be laid down during the heavy fighting. Of course, the Northern Army took position in the cemetery during the battle, and several stones were damaged during the fighting. And several stones in our cemetery today still show battle damage from the fighting. And as I say, we're inside the northern lines. The northern line of battle, of course, was in the shape of a giant fishhook and ran from Culp's Hill over to Cemetery Hill and around to Big and Little Round Top. And this is one of the few places on the battlefield, the Evergreen Cemetery, we can actually see, both ends of the Union line from ground level. It's interesting that the Smizers, a prominent family in the town, had a child that died in 1826. And of course, the child would have been buried somewhere else. And then when the cemetery opened in 1854, stones were moved into the cemetery, and probably stones were changed or altered. So this is probably not the 1826 stone, but something that was added after little George was reburied here in the cemetery. And just some of the artwork on the stones in the cemetery is just incredible. And I've been in a lot of cemeteries in my life, and Evergreen Cemetery is one of the best kept cemeteries and better maintained cemeteries that you'll visit. So next time you're in Gettysburg, take a walk into the cemetery and check out some of the artwork on the graves. Another stone that is damaged in Evergreen Cemetery is that of Wesley Kopp. This is John Wesley Kopp's father, who died in 1861. Of course, this is his mother that died in 1856. You may know that Wesley Kopp served in the Southern Army during the American Civil War. He had moved south to Virginia prior to the war, and when the war broke out, he joined the Virginia Infantry Unit. And of course, as part of the Stonewall Brigade, the 2nd Virginia Infantry fought in the area east of the town on July 2nd and July 3rd. And supposedly Wesley is killed on July 2nd, probably somewhere in the fighting for Brinkerhoff Ridge. But when he came into the town on the evening of July 1st, remember, he stopped at his sister's house and talked to her. His father had remarried, and his stepmother was still living in the town, but his mother and father had died. And I would say about the very same time that Wesley Kopp was being killed in the fighting somewhere east of the town, an artillery shell slammed into his father's grave and broke it. And you can see that somewhere early on, this stone was marked as being damaged during the battle. Of course, I was just kidding about that. We don't know exactly when the artillery shell hit the grave, but I can see the ghost story people would have a field day with this. So if you like our historical content on our channel, feel free to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and share this video with your friends. Of course, it was Frederick Huber, who grew up on Chambersburg Street, that died in 1862 at the Battle of Fair Oaks as a member of the 23rd Pennsylvania Infantry, the Bernie Zouaves. He actually was killed. His body was brought back to Gettysburg. He was buried here in Evergreen Cemetery. And during the battle, an artillery shell hit and damaged his grave. And his father asked that the grave remain and not be repaired.